Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our brand new product experience webinar series. My name is Sajid Terra and I'll be your host for the evening. Today, we will be taking you through the exciting topic of how AI and UX can co-create rich product experiences. And we call this combination the perfect alliance for smart products. And I'm delighted to see so many of you have joined and the interest in exploring how artificial intelligence and user experience can come together to create two truly impactful and smarter products. So, in today's rapidly evolving tech landscape, AI is transforming how we, the digital product creators, read the users and build digital experiences. Together, AI and UX are reshaping the way we think about technology and how it improves people's lives. So, this session is about diving into that powerful intersection of understanding how these two fields can complement each other to make our products smarter, more intuitive, and ultimately more delightful for the users. So we have two fantastic speakers here with us today, Rasika and Samudra, who are the leaders in these fields and bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to share with you. First, let me introduce Rasika. Rasika is 99X Director of Human Computer Interactions. We call it HEX, and he has over 20 years of experience in UX design for digital products. He has designed and consulted on more than 100 products across the European market and lead the human experience team at 99X. He's focusing on improving the user experiences of numerous Scandinavian and European customers. Recently, Rasika authored the book Tier 1 User Experience Designer, where he shares his rich industry insights. And he also has conducted many UX workshops across Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore, and he's helped shaping the future of UX in the tech industry. And let me switch to Samudra. So Samudra is the director of technology at 99X with an impressive 20-year career dedicated leading tech teams and working with cutting-edge technologies. He currently leads the AI initiative at 99X, focusing on large language models, AI technologies, GPT, and OpenAI. His expertise spans various industries from aerospace to enterprise security, and his experience includes leading AI proof of concept projects and crafting GPT centric solutions at 99X. And today, Rasika will be speaking on how AI can be used to build on UX concepts and improve the creative product design, while Samudra will be taking us through the applied aspects of AI and UX combo, specifically how to use AI in developing products with rich user experience. So I have also have a note to the audience as well. Be engaged, closely follow up the session, and post any questions you may have on the chat so we can stress these brilliant speakers at the Q&A session. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Rasika to kick off the session. Rasika, over to you.
Hi, fellas. Let me bring up my presentation. You guys see my presentation? Hello?
Yeah, you can see.
Okay. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon from where you're joining. So let me explain you how UX and AI can be combined together to create better products in this software industry. And thank you for that introduction, Sajid. Let me start this one. So I I'm asking you a question. First of all, please, I know there are UX designers, product owners, product managers, CEOs, and then CFOs. Everybody's here. So leave out your usual hat and wear the user hat for a moment and think deeper that when is the last time that you click those specifically mentioned AI features in a product, those chatbots and this AI, that AI. When is the last time that you click them? And how many of you are continuously using them? The answer is, I would say, vary. And when I asked out people and when I, continue my research on this one, not many people are using those features. And to make things worse, some people, click those features just to try out what those things are. And it doesn't guarantee that they will keep using them. Well, the answer or the question is why it happens. So I'm asking this question again, do we need AI or do we need better solutions? People don't need AI. People don't worry about the technology. As users, as creators, yes, very much. But as users, we don't worry about the underlying technologies. All we want is better solutions. So when I say better solution, what's the definition for a better solution? Now, remember, every problem that we face today has a solution. And every solution has problems. So this problem could be, a software product, or it could be an Excel sheet, or it could be a piece of stick. But every problem has solutions, and every solution has problems, which we call the pain points. And when we are using these solutions, we gain something. And people do have certain goals and needs when we are using them. Those are called pain points, goals, and needs. And when I say a better product, the definition is a product which less ease out the pain and maximize the gain. In simple terms, it's less gain, less pain, and more gain. So this is the definition of a better product. So as user experience designers, what we need to do is to design this product. And today I will explain you several things, and I divide my presentation into two parts. The first part, I will be talking a bit about the user experience because otherwise you will not get anything that I am explaining today. So I have to use that first part to explain the processes and everything that we use to create these better products. And then I will explain how AI can be incorporated in various aspects of this journey. So the first part might sound a little boring for some people, but hang on, AI would come. And I will be explaining you certain skill improvements that you can do with AI. And I will explain certain process improvements that you can do, as well as I will explain design pattern improvements that you can do. And Samudra will talk more about these design patterns in his part. So some I will, go a bit deeper, and some I will scratch the surface. And you can ask any questions if you don't get anything at the end of the session. So this particular term, user experience, is often misunderstood. Why? Because a lot of people think it's something got to do with the look, and a lot of people think it's the colors and everything. So let's come to the same page. Otherwise, it's chaos. And user experience term was originally coined by Donald Norman somewhere in 1993, 1995, 6, that period when he was in Apple. And what he meant was user experience is the emotional thought process that runs in your head when you interact with anything. Not only at the time that you're interacting, even before the interaction, how do you feel about it? And while the interaction, how do you feel? And even after the interaction, how do you feel? And when you tell that experience to someone, how do you feel? That is user experience. It's not how it looks. And there are multiple layers of this user experience. I will explain which is which. The bottom layer is the solution design layer, where we understand the current problems. that people are facing, the pain points. If we are to design a better product with less pain and more gain, we have to understand, oh shit. This is very I know it's disturbing and irony. It was all fine, and whenever we start something to present and somebody's drilling out something, so beg your pardon for that one. And so the solution design layer is where you understand the problems, the pain points, goals, and needs of the people, and design a solution for that one. Design a solution doesn't mean the visual design. Often the solution consists of multiple interconnected user journeys. What is a user journey? A series of steps that somebody has to take in order to achieve something. And next comes the quality attribute layer. How you can improve this product quality. Once you have designed the solution, then you think about the quality, how you can improve the quality. For example, these quality attributes are like, the usability, accessibility, performance, security, all these things will come in the quality attribute layer. But there's the dependency. If you design the solution wrong, then the quality attribute layer doesn't matter. Because say that there's a super duper usable application, usability is superb. People would say, I can use this with ease, but it doesn't solve my problem. There's a lightning fast application. Oh my God, it loads super fast, but it doesn't solve my problem. That is the dependency. So first the solution design, then the quality attributes, then the implementation. This is where the UI UX thing comes in. And often we refer it to as UI, but a lot of people call it UI UX. So that is how we convert certain parts of the user journey into interface. That is the base of any better solution. Now, let me explain this one as well quickly. Now, base of any user experience architecture is the connectivity between these problems and the solution. So everything that you see in an application, every button, every icon, every text field, everything has to have a reason to be exist. And that reason is the problem definition. If you violate this connection, then people will inject so many features without any purpose. Somebody say, oh, can we use this one? Can we use that one, that feature, this feature? But there are so many features. But what's the problem that those features are being solved? So all these problem definitions are gathered, defined using three components. One, business goals. Number two, pain points, goals, and needs of users. And number three, compliance, different compliance that you have to cater in this application. Now, remember that I know it might sound crazy, but for some people, but remember that if in any of your applications, the products, if you have violated this layer, then you are playing a guess game of, thinking about maybe we should include this feature and that feature and this feature. Maybe we have a chatbot, something like that. It won't work like that. So how do we gather all of these things? We need a process, not just one, but many. But all these processes, the mother of all these processes is design thinking. Now, there are different flavors of design thinking. Stanford School brought up one thing, IBM brought up one thing, but the most, most used process nowadays among user experience designers is this something called the double diamond process. And I'm not going to explain this double diamond process, but this is a very generic process. It says discover, define, develop, and deliver. But depending on the project type that you're working on, we have different project types. Start a product from scratch, improve or revamp an existing product, adding a new feature to an existing product. In all these different scenarios, how we do each of these things vary. So I will use this process wrapper that we created for this specific scenario of start a product from scratch. Remember, this is only for start a product from scratch. Now we have several process wrappers for different types of projects. So everything starts off with the product owner's story, or the client or the customer, so that business person. So everything starts off with that person's intentions. Now, user experience designer has to have certain skills. Number one skill is the domain knowledge. Why? I can't believe how many people ignore this skill, and how many people, even if you hear it now, I can't believe how many people would, neglect this skill. But let me tell you, this is the place where it, happens all. Whether you play the real UX designer role, whether you advise the customer better, or you play the interface designer role, will all happen right at this point. It's about your domain knowledge. Now, domain knowledge is about the knowledge about the particular business operation that the client is coming from. For example, finance or banking or insurance or healthcare. So in any of these domains, there are specific ways that things do happen, specific processes, specific terminology, everything is there. Now, how do you gather this domain knowledge? The usual way that we used to do was, we had to read through all the documents, white paper after white paper, do random searches, go to website, and it's all sorts of things, and it's so difficult. But now, using ChatGPT, we can do this with, minimum effort. Now, how do I do this? Now, let me tell you how you can do a basic domain knowledge search. Don't type, whatever the things that you come up with, I will tell you the process. So what you can do is, first you can ask for the overview of the process, what this entire thing is about, and then you can dig into each of these areas and then ask for special terminology used in these things, and then ask for user groups involved, and then ask for pain points, goals, and needs in this particular order. Why I say that? Because if you go and ask pain points and goals and needs at the very beginning, well, he might give it, but you might not understand how those things do connect. That's why I ask you to do it in this order. You can take a screenshot if you want to, and it will look like this. Then I did this research. Or even I'm doing it now for the last 1.5 years. This how can we improve the garbage collection process in Sri Lanka? You can replace the country name with your country name. Beg your pardon for that one. And so when you ask for the overview, it will give you certain things, and these are the things that you need to dig into. Each of these areas, you can ask more information, then it will give more information, then eventually you can ask pain points, goals, and needs specific to each of these areas. Now, I don't recommend you to ask for personas. It will give you, but why I say that is the validity of those pain points and goals and needs, and the persona's scope may vary depending on several conditions that you are looking for. So what I always recommend is you gather these pain points and then create the persona manually. So we use this template called empathetic proto-persona. You can use whatever the template that you would like to use. It doesn't matter. But don't ask for personas from ChatGPT. And the number of things that this ChatGPT suggests. Now, if you remember this Sundar Pichai's presentation recently, he said that 30% of that thing was developed using AI. That 30% has a meaning, because when I do this research with 9 different student groups over the 1.5 years, the number of things that you can gather using a manual research and the number of things that you can gather from an AI research is like 30 to 40%. So it's not that AI is lying, ChatGPT is not lying, but it doesn't tell you the whole picture. It tells you like, 30 to 40% of the picture. So that number has a meaning, guys. And once you have gathered all these things, this is how you shape up your application. These are the pain points, goals, and needs that you gather are the ones that gonna shape up your solution. or the features, in other words. So all of these things has to be solved in your solution. So this is a template for this problem definition. You can take a screenshot if you want, and this is a failed one that I have used. So next comes the solution part. This is where AI can be used heavily. So first of all, when we are crafting those pain points, goals, and needs into a solution, we start out with a blueprint. Blueprint is nothing but a series of high-level user journeys that you are drafting, interconnected user journeys. Then we derive something called key user journeys. I will explain what these user journeys would look like. And we use some template like this, and there are several templates on the internet, but more or less everything talks about the similar things. Now, in this template, what we do is we talk about the flow items. I mean, say request a taxi, then we pour the interactions into this one. You ask several questions like how the user would do it and why the user would do it. What are the technical delights that you can present? Why? Well, now this technical delight is a bit tricky. Why? Because you remember, every problem has a solution and every solution has problems. It applies to this as well, to the one that we create as well. We can't assume that our solution is, doesn't have any pain point. So technical delight is something that we give, identifying certain, pains in our solution, and we do something to mitigate that one. Certain, nice to have fancy features to mitigate the difficulty of this particular step. So now why I showed this to you is, when we are creating interface, now then comes the most irritating part of this process, creating interfaces and prototypes. Now you have drafted the journey. Now it's a matter. Now you need to present it in a form of user interface. That takes time. For a if I give you an estimate for a project that takes like 1,000 man days, it takes about roughly like 6 to 8 weeks of user experience design work at the very beginning. And out of those 6 to 8 weeks, like 60%, 70% will be allocated to creating those interfaces. Now, let me tell you some interesting thing here. When you design this user journey with interactions and technical delights, you can copy this and paste in certain applications like Galileo or Figma AI. I'll talk about Galileo because I think everybody knows about Figma. How you can do this, how you can convert that user journey into interfaces. Now, one thing that people do is you ask for, can I have a restaurant management application? Can I have that application, this application? It will design, but it doesn't guarantee that it solves these pain points, goals, and needs. So that's why you do this part manually. So once you have done that manually, you can copy and paste those interactions and technical delights into these tools, and it will give you interfaces, not in hours, not in minutes, but in seconds. Now, again, the quality of these things. Now, I pasted this particular interaction and the technical delight. Now, the quality of these things, again, I agree that a professional UX designer would do a bit better job. Yes, I agree. But are these bad? Not at all. Not at all. These are very good suggestions. So you can take this as the base of your design. And you can do the edits with this tool, or you can copy it to Figma and make those changes. And if you want to create prototypes, you can convert it into whichever the programming language that you want it to be. And it can be done in not in minutes, not in hours, but in seconds. But again, the code and everything, yes, it's not 100% perfect, but you can take that as the base code. So that irritating part, which takes a lot of time in this process, can be cut down into like if it takes like 6 weeks out of it, and you can cut it down to 2-3 days. So that's the beauty of these AI tools. But you need to know how to use it. right? Now, next time, don't ask AI to use a restaurant management system. Instead, you design the user journey and feed that interaction and get the design done. And the last part of my presentation is about the design patterns. Now, if you look at any of these interfaces, what it consists is interaction design patterns and information architectural patterns. Information architecture is how you organize the content. Interaction design is how people interact with the content that you have created. So all these years, we are bound by certain technical constraints because computer systems work in a specific way, and we have to respect those constraints. Now let me explain you a couple of things. Even these players like mighty players like Uber Eats struggle with these constraints. Now this is the screen that you are seeing is what do you call now if you have a restaurant, if you are in Uber Eats, your customers always give you feedback, the ratings and feedback. You have to respond to them. Now Uber Eats have come up with this mechanism called creating auto reply. This is how it's going to work. You have to select all the stores, and these are the things that they can track: the ratings, the customer type, the number of or the amount that you have spent, and the message. And if you're offering something, that you can do it. Now, these are the logical things that the technology can capture up to now. But let me point out the issue here. Now, if you look at these are real feedback. Now, if you look at these things, now this person has rated this restaurant 1 and said that cold dough melted. Now, what has happened is, now this, if anybody says it's cold dough melted, it is a delivery issue because probably that person, the rider has carried it outside the box, or it might have taken some, delays to deliver it, because restaurant always dispatch items as soon as it prepares. And if you hear this one, now if I, automate a reply here, what I could do is rating number 1 if the customer is new, and I could tell them a message. What's the message? I could say that, sorry, for this bad experience, but it doesn't help this customer. So if I can understand this sentiment, which AI can, so that I can type a better reply. So complain Uber and get the full refund. This is what has happened. This is a delivery issue, and Uber is responsible for, delivery issues, and they do it 100%. And this one, if you look at this one, this person has rated 4 and it said unsustainable packaging. And again, this is a delivery issue. Why? Often when you're delivering a pizza, the box is large, and sometimes people, put it in the vertical side. Then that is a clear incident where that happens. And this person has rated 4, but if I, automate a reply saying that 4 ratings is, say that, wow, thanks for the feedback, you like our pizza, it's going to disappoint the customer. But here I could explain them, thanks for the reply, and make a complaint and get the full refund. And you can change this interface into something like this. So again, the ratings, customer type, sentiment type. How we can get the sentiment type? Because AI can read and understand this sentiment, and then we can train the model into what could be the issue here: delivery or quality or service, and type a message accordingly. And a restaurant owner can completely automate this reply thing with a meaning. So this is one, and this is another one. This is called search. Now, for all these times, whichever the search that you do, even including Google search, when you type something, it points towards the direction where your answers might be. So you have to go through all these links and find the answer. That's how the search works up to now. But now with AI, what you can do is, when you type this one, AI could go through these content and scrape through all this content and create a model and give you the answer. Instead of pointing towards the answer, it could give you the answer that people are looking for, and which experience is better. So these are some of the examples that I could point out that when you are designing the solution that you can bring into table with the power of AI. And Samudra will talk more about these things in his presentation. And What I'm asking you is you need to mask this technical jargon from users. Even this example, if somebody gives us the specific answer, this is how you can add a contact in CRM. They don't need to know whether it's AI. They don't care. They don't need. But we have to use an AI to give that answer. So we have to mask that technical jargon from AI. We don't need to mention that this is AI or not, and we can create better solution. The world has yet to see. So that is what I have to say. And if you have any questions and anything, that I'm here to answer. Thank you very much. And I'm really sorry this thing happened. Like, when I started the present, somebody drills through something. I'm really sorry for that one. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Rasika. Thank you for taking us through that insightful thought process of yours and demonstrating how AI can be used when starting products from scratch, enrich the early steps of product crafting using AI. Next, I would like to invite Samudra. So as I mentioned to you earlier, he'll be taking us through more applied cases of UX and AI combo. Samudra, over to you.
Thank you, Sajid. Hope you all can hear me. Just doing a quick test.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let me start my press. Okay, as usual. Okay. Yeah. So let me start with some interesting UI, interesting prototype. So when I joined 99X, this was around 18 to 20 years back. These are the kind of interfaces like with VB.NET, with C#.NET. These are the kind of applications as juniors to learn the technology. This is the kind of application we did. But the very interesting point here, so these applications at this phase, I can't even hardly remember we talk about the concept of user experience, UX. Rather, we were heavily influenced by the underlying technologies, DB structures, and we were like the name CRUD, create, update, delete. So those are the terms that we use to design the solutions. And this is a very typical example where you feed information. So you feed information manually into the system, and you also have common constructs like grid to display your records, data of your system. And this is very much aligned with underlying rigid information structure. So when I look at 15 years later, and when I look at ERP system, and this is my story will look like, right? So you can see very clearly the grid was there. So this is the way we display information, right? And you can clearly see the CRUD. So maybe the placement is different, maybe the terms we use different, but still you can see the concept of create. And the navigation, page navigation, still it exists. And manual data filling. So you fill your titles, you fill your values, you have lookups to select different values from information structures. But the whole underlying concept of CRUD together with manual data entry, that remains as it is, right? In a way, you can say there's no functional change in the system, but you see a lot of user interface level improvements. Yes, of course, I agree there are user experience level improvements, but still there's not much of a massive technology change to uplift the user experience in a drastic manner. And it's same when you look at how you filter data, how you search data. I mean, I always love these kind of advanced search interfaces because you can create a lot of complex search conditions and you can find what you want. But you have to be a very advanced user, right? For typical user, I don't think they can do a good search or filter here because that is the typical nature of the majority of the users. And even if you look at why I have to navigate through large, deep menu structures, right? This is there. Like I can very clearly see 15 years this was there, but still you see the navigation structures are there, deep navigation. So these are the kind of experiences that we carry forward for 15 years, but we didn't had much technology solutions. Partly we can say, okay, technology was same. So we have been following the same structure, whatever the technology that we have worked upon, but there was no slight massive improvement, right? So let me take you through a travel domain use case. So I can highlight what is this symptom is all about in a very clear manner when you see the use cases. Because when I try to describe this concept without a good domain use case, I found when you have a good domain use case, you can understand the concepts very clear. So imagine you plan a trip to Sri Lanka. So these days it's very common, like the foreigners and the people from outside, they love to visit Sri Lanka, right? When you travel, plan a travel like this, so your initial planning, that's based on your interest. It could be based on your goals, right? Based on the activities you would like to do. And interestingly, it may be you have a budget constraint even, right? So these are more of unstructured thoughts that happens in a real life, right? So people thoughts, those are unstructured by design, right? And but maybe so you may also ask for a travel agency help to plan your trip. Like if you want to have the best experience while you are traveling, you might ask for a help from a travel agency, and you might draft your thoughts about how you would like to enjoy your trip and your like activities you would like to do and the budget constraints. So these are the kind of things that you draft into your email written using an unstructured language, a human-like language. And let's see on the other side, the travel agent story, right? So you draft your email and send your request to your travel agent, and he receives something unstructured, right? But what is his primary workflow? So her or his primary role is to create a personalized travel plan based on your inputs. But your inputs are unstructured, but the systems that the agent works, those are designed using a structured technology. So since this gap, so what you have to do is, so you have to manually interpret your incoming request, and you have to do a lot of search to find good flights, good hotel bookings, and you have to match the budget constraints, and you have to navigate between different applications. So you have to hotel booking systems, flight booking systems. So and interestingly, a lot of manual data entry, which kind of, it's not like you and me. This is the day-to-day job. So imagine if you have to do this work every time. Imagine the burden and the time they spend on this kind of activity. Let's look at and I will say this is the best way I explain it. You use your travel agent as a data entry operator. How unfair on the operator, right? So let's look at why this is happening, right? So you have your incoming unstructured email request with your travel information, while your travel systems, the hotel booking systems, flight reservation systems, those are designed using a very structured information architecture. Underline what you have is something like structured databases, and you have very structured schemas to define how these systems look like. So there's a very clear impedance mismatch between the way you interpret this information in these systems and the way end user operates. So completely different two paradigms. And you have an operator who will do the transformation between these two paradigms, right? And that is purely a technical limitation, right? So from the beginning, these systems, they were not intelligent enough to work with the human-like intelligence, right? So you cannot automatically transform this unstructured content into structured format. So this is the limitation that exists, right? So do you really think like now we are in the era of large language models and we are talking about natural language. So do you really think we have to give this burden to these end users to overcome this data entry, navigation kind of experiences? Let's see how Optimax AI platform. This is a platform that we have been working on 99X research department. So we saw these challenges from the beginning, and our focus was how we can achieve maximum optimization under these challenges, right? So let's see. I have three different example use cases how we are transforming this manual workloads. The first use case is about smart filling. So you do a lot of manual data filling. So let's see how it is.
Now, let's explore a common data entry scenario in applications. Picture an employee working at a travel planning company. They receive customer requests through emails, messages, and tickets, but the information is often unstructured and needs to be entered into the system. Typically, employees have to fill out each form field one by one, a process that can be slow and repetitive. With Optimax AI Smart Fill, we can accelerate workflows like this. Now, employees can simply copy the customer's message and click Smart Paste. In an instant, the form fields are auto-filled with the right information. We've also introduced automatic tagging within the data input forms. Instead of manually tagging each entry, employees can rely on Optimax AI to generate the necessary tags automatically. This automation not only speeds up data entry but also makes managing requests easier and more efficient, freeing up valuable time for users to focus on what matters most.
Yes.
Now,
Okay. Yeah. So the first question you might ask whether this is about integrating existing OpenAI APIs and try to do form filling by detecting the user's intent, and you just let form filling. And this is not about that, right? So, I mean, when I talk to my customers, they have many concerns around this, right? What about your data privacy? And what about your confidentiality of your data? And what is the cost, right? Cost of generative AI is not cheap as you think, right? So, and this is clearly not about directly integrating OpenAI API, right? So what we have trying to do instead, so we have tried to bring the large language, the smaller versions, into your browser context. So, and have a platform just like NPM packages, which can be integrated into your application. And there's like one thing is to the privacy aspect, so you don't have to send your data beyond your browser context. And the second one is how easily you can integrate, right? So if you are to integrate modern AI with advanced knowledge, so you have to have a very specialized skill set to do this kind of integration. But what we have done is by abstracting these complexities inside a NPM package, so you can use these large language models just like you use a JavaScript API, right? So that is what we have done here, right? And so we haven't stopped the integration only by smart filling. So let's see the second use case, and it's about often you have to navigate between different screens, different deep menu structures, and executing different functions. So these are the kind of challenges often you have a complex enterprise application environment. Let's see our smart command, how Optimax's smart command solve this.
Now let's look at a use case for automated navigation within complex applications. Modern applications can be challenging to navigate, especially for new users. With so many functions and interfaces, finding the right options can be time-consuming, even when users know exactly what they want to do. Often, they're limited by the application's layout and structure. With Optimaxer AI, we're changing that. Optimaxer AI smart commands can understand the intent behind unstructured requests and automatically guide users to the right location within the app. For example, let's say a customer requests a change in travel dates. Instead of manually searching through the app for the Journey Edit interface, Optimaxer AI identifies the intent behind the request and offers a single-click option to go directly to the relevant screen. This approach simplifies complex applications, allowing users to navigate based on everyday language, making it more intuitive.
Yes, and we haven't stopped there, right? So another challenge you always have. So with enterprise applications, you have large documentation. So in our case, we had a very large documentation of a ERP application when we start developing on this, and wikis, Confluence, then activity logs. You have a lot of unstructured content collecting inside your application surroundings. So far, because of we are lacking a good technology, we haven't looked into the insights, right? So this smart help, just look at what impact it can make. This is just one example what it can do, but you have plenty of adaptations around this.
Let's explore another common use case, extracting information from knowledge bases. Modern products come with a wealth of information, like guides, blogs, and other resources in both structured and unstructured formats. However, it's often challenging for users to quickly find the specific information they need. Even if users know exactly what they're looking for, they still have to go through multiple documents to get their answers. With Optimaxer AI Smart Help, we simplify this process. We offer a simple chat interface that lets users interact with a knowledge base in everyday language. For instance, let's say a user wants information about a travel destination in Sri Lanka. Instead of searching through various blogs and documents on the site, the user can simply ask about the destination in the chat interface, and it will provide relevant answers pulled directly from the knowledge base. This chat interface also offers recommended questions based on the user's previous interactions, creating a more personalized experience. Overall, Optimaxer AI enhances the user experience, making it faster and easier to access information. I hope you can now clearly see how Optimaxer Smart Fill, Smart Commands, and Smart Help can enhance application usability like never before. Let's explore another.
Yeah. So having gone through these three features, like how smart fill, smart command, and smart help can change the overall experience of a product. So we are also after the search, recommendations, and reporting. So these are very interesting areas that we can make a massive impact on the user experience. I have a quick demo, 1 minute demo as one last step. So let me bring your screen. So this is again a chat application, but it represents, say when I am traveling to Sri Lanka, I want to buy a camera, good camera equipment, right? So I might say, so I'm traveling to Sri Lanka and I wanted to buy a good camera to photograph. Do you have any recommendation, right? So when you ask this question, so I have trained this with, so this is about smart searching. If you look at the previous era of search, mostly it's either based on keywords, high-level semantic search. So you have ability to take some kind of moderate level semantic understanding, but with generative AI, so you can bring a lot of context, right? So if you are to say, I am interested in wildlife photography, and I'm traveling to Sri Lanka, and you bring much context as possible, and you ask a question about what is the best camera I can buy, right? So these systems now can analyze deep context and give you a very precise answer, right? In this case, he has recommended some good cameras, equipments, accessories, right? And even it provides the recommendations, right? And it provides the recommendation about D850 and Mark IV cameras, right? So competitors, two competitive cameras, right? And even you can ask very detailed questions like specifications. Imagine how if you bring this into a modern systems and what kind of power you can gain by getting insights from your unstructured. That is the key here, right? All this time we have been dealing with structured data, but to train these systems, now you can see the power of what information, the length and the depth of the information you have on your unstructured data, so you can bring them into your surface and you can create very interesting use case. I think literally it's infinite, right? So I am just demonstrating one or two use cases, but even I can ask, can you compare price? So it will simply compare as far as these price informations are in your content, right? So see the power. So it shows the graphically it shows, and you can ask for most economical. So look at the type of integrations that you, and you can do it very hybrid, not necessarily be unstructured. So you can combine your database records together with unstructured data. So I will not go very detailed into these use cases, but you at least understand what kind of power you can bring into your systems, right? So with that, I think yeah, this is one last thought I have to post. So these kind of integrations, so these kind of transformations, do you really think we can think of a next generation of productivity gain, next level of productivity gain? I mean, all this time for last 10, 15 years, we were just talking about slight productivity gain, right? So, but imagine the power of these technologies. Think twice. So I'll end up the session here and open up maybe for questions and have more discussions around this. Sajid, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Samudra, for that insightful session. And also thank you for bringing the applied aspects and the power of Optimax as a platform onto the demonstration here. I think this is what we need to demonstrate what we have actually done. So a big thank to you on that. Because I think we have almost reached out the allocated time. So we have only 2 minutes left. So I've looked at the questions that we have got. There are a couple of questions that I have received, but I'd like to ask one thing because I know that when privacy and data transparency and security is a buzzword. So I'd like to ask this one question before I conclude the session today. What are the key ethical considerations when integrating AI into UX, especially in terms of data privacy and data transparency in your context? I think both of you can chip in here. Just take 1 minute and please give an audience the answer.
Rasika, you would like to go first?
Yes, and this is something we all have to respect regardless of the technology that we are using. And there are protocols already established for these privacy and everything. So whatever the models that we are using, we can't violate those protocols. For example, in my presentation, I clearly mentioned those compliances need to be taken into consideration at the very beginning of your process. So when you are designing solution, for example, if you look at GDPR, those are very heavily, strict constraints that people have to follow. And there are things like privacy by design and privacy by default. You have to respect everything. So regardless of whatever the technology that we are using, and in certain countries you have certain privacy acts, defined. We have to respect them as well. So it depends on the conditions that these things have posted.
Yeah. From my side also, I am very much aligned with what Rasika said here. So whenever we design these systems and next generation of platforms, so data privacy and the ethics has to be very core level elements of the platform. And to the prompt level, like even prompt level, you have to do a human alignment layer. So these are very important parts which affect the user experience and how we test these systems and how ethical we are in designing products. So I think these are very critical elements at the core of the platforms when we design level, testing level. And also, I think that is how I see, and that is one of the main reasons we brought these LLMs into the browser and run your own LLM models. So those are the things, thinking also behind this designs.
Yeah. Thank you, Samudra. Thank you, Rasika, for that answer. I think privacy by default, privacy by design, that states on top of everything, right? So with that, I think let me wrap up the session. I'd like to thank the audience first for joining and being a wonderful audience. Hope you found the insight shared by Rasika and Samudra valuable and inspiring. So a big thank goes to our two speakers here, Samu and Rasika, information and thought-provoking presentations. And I like to thank the organizing committee as well. So they have put a lot of effort behind the screen. Before we conclude, I want to mention an exciting event that is coming up, is what you see on the screen. So this is 99X Product Experience Summit, which will be held on 28th of January 2025 at Cinnamon Grand Colombo. So we will be presenting, there will be exciting sessions, thought-provoking discussions planned in these key pillars of generating or creating exceptional product experiences. Namely, we are planning to bring on to you topics on product adoption, product design, product market fit, and product engineering. So this will be an excellent opportunity for all of us to explore and learn more about creating impactful digital experience. So I welcome all of you to take part in the upcoming summit. And thank you once again, and looking forward to see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.